Well, there have been concerns about the situation in River State, and we've seen the president finding a solution lasting to this. Well, joining me for this conversation is the Special Assistant to the President on Media and Public Communications, Sunday Dari. It's good to have you join us at this time.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
Good evening. Right. I mean, the question on everyone's mind, what's going on in River State? But how do you react to the fact that the National Assembly has ratified this state of emergency in River State?
I think it's important that we realize that the decision taken by Mr. President a few days ago concerning the declaration of state of emergency in River State is in line with our Constitution. And when you look at what the National Assembly has done today, is also in line with the provisions of the Constitution. First, a proclamation, then a gazette follows, and thereafter, the third majority of the House, and then the Senate. And we've seen all these processes work lockstep according to the Constitution of our country, without any crisis whatsoever. So I think the trigger has to be, and the credit must go to Mr. President, who stepped in to take a timely, timeous decision. Because we've all watched events in River State, 18 months, 20 months down the road. We've seen that out of the 3 pillars of democracy, 2 had already collapsed, leaving only the judiciary. We've seen efforts by the president, by leaders in River State, political, traditional rulers. We've seen all of that come to naught. And we had gotten to a crisis point. At that point, the president, based on provisions of the Constitution, 305 as amended, had to act. And that's what he did within the ambit of the law.
Right. I mean, many will agree with you on the fact that, this intervention may have been timely, considering the fact that an impeachment process was already in place. But, you are close to the president, and we saw the sole administrator arrive River State today. What's the mandate given to him?
Well, it's very clear. I just watched, even in the president's statement, that statement, the broadcast by the president was really clear. First, he anchored his decision on the Supreme Court judgment. He also anchored his decision for the proclamation on Section 305 and other provisions therefrom. And we've had condition precedent. We've had declarations of state of emergencies before, under President Olusegun Obasanjo, former, under President Jonathan, former. And we've seen what happened. And once you're a sole administrator, there are clear lines. First, the President Tinubu was clear. You are not to make any laws, but work on regulations and guidelines, but also ensure that judiciary functions properly. So the sole administrator is clear on what he needs to do. He was sworn yesterday. He has arrived River State today. There's peace and calm in River State, and he knows that in the next 6 months, there'll be a series of engagements. He just said clearly, beyond the meeting, the security meeting he had today, he's going to line up a couple of other meetings. And I think within the next 6 months, we will see efforts by all stakeholders to make sure that River State gets back on its feet again. But also, I must say that because you've seen the response of the National Assembly in supporting Mr. President, it speaks loudly to the fact that the president, as a leader, acted when it was most important, chose the path of constitutionality, and it stands on 3 very strong legs. The first one is that of constitutionality. There's a clear provision. And it had come to a time all the recipe was ready, either for crisis, when the president does not act, or for the president to activate that provision. The second is that we have had condition precedents of declarations of emergency. And we saw what happened thereafter. There was no implosion. It helped to calm things down, and the country went forward. And the third is anchored in the academia, when you talk about the story of the theory of securitization. That is when there's an existential threat, a leader is expected to act. And we saw what happened. In River State, we had all the ingredients of existential threat. to the political economy, to the economy of this country when it comes to the oil, even to the society at large. And so the president stands on three very strong legs in what he has done. And it takes a precedent. You know, the president will have chosen to fiddle. Remember the story of, the emperor who fiddled while Rome burned? No, rather, he chose the courageous path to invoke his powers as provided. He has not gone outside of his powers whatsoever.
And then we're waiting to see how, long-lasting this solution will really be for residents of Rivers State, especially, in terms of, giving back the democracy, dividends of democracy to residents of, Rivers State. But thank you for talking to us. Well, I've been speaking to the special advisor to the president on media and public communication, Sunday Dari. Thank you for joining us on TVC News
Thank you,
at
absolutely.
4. Well, that's it on the news at 4. For more updates on the stories we're monitoring, you can visit our website on www.tvcnews.tv. You can also follow us on our social media handles, Facebook, Instagram, and on X at TVC News NG. On YouTube, we are live at TVC News Nigeria. Thanks for watching.